This club's not just for some. All friends, one family, together we are one.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to our show. Welcome back to Finn Harps TV. Today we're trying something new. We're hoping to continue throughout the season. A little bit of a hopefully weekly, maybe bi-weekly, maybe sometimes show where we take maybe a look at more of the behind the scenes stuff, kind of going on at Finn Park, during the week you're ready for a game. Maybe interviews with kind of past players, ground staff, the people behind the scenes, to give the fans a little better look back into what's going on at the club when you can't be in the ground yourself.
That's good. I like that.
There you go.
Did you write it down? No, but yeah, behind the scenes, we'll try to bring you everything that the last bit there from Ethan, everything you're missing from not being in the ground. I like that, the last bit there.
Yeah, right. Well, we have stuff ahead of the Bows game this week. We have interviews with Aidan Campbell of general whatever the hell's happening around the place. We have a behind the scenes of the kit room with Dougie McNulty, and we have a short but sweet interview with Ivan Harvey of the ground upgrades that's going on at the minute. And
I'd say that's a good long one with Ivan. I'd say Ivan's full of chat.
A good long one, yeah.
Powerful stuff, and Ivan will admit that himself. I can't wait for him to see this.
The give-out will be...
We have a bonus feature as well. Bartley Ramsay, the club historian, is detailing some facts and stats and stories with history in Finn Harps and players. I got totally tongue-tied.
You started really well and you faded out.
With facts and history of Finn Harps, that's good. Yeah.
No, he already done that. But he's talking to past players. He's talking to past players. The first one we've got is Liam Harbison. He played with Harps in the early 80s, and there's some cool stories with him. So we have a short extract from the full interview with Liam, and we'll
be putting the full one up for people to enjoy at their leisure. Yeah.
But first up, I suppose we'll dive straight in. We'll find out what's happening with all the crack of the club, and we'll chat to Aidan Campbell. Or I will chat to Aidan Campbell. I already did chat to Aidan Campbell.
You spoke to Aidan Campbell. I'm waiting to see what Aidan Campbell said to you.
Finn Park today, we're seeing the preparations for the season ramp up. The pitch has been freshly lined and cut, and the end is in sight. We're a couple of days out. So can you tell us a bit about what's been going on here behind the scenes?
Yeah, just to see, fantastic to see all the work going on behind us, most of it by volunteers. Nigel, there's been a lot of preparations, obviously to do with the pitch, to do with around the ground. Probably the strangest times that we've been in. The club has had many battles before with various things, but the pandemic has presented everyone with huge challenges, and the same with League of Ireland clubs. So we've been obviously working hard on the fundraising side. We've had tremendous loyalty, and I must pay tribute to all of our sponsors. The people who sponsor the Hordens, the people who do player sponsorships, our programme advertisers, the people who've been with us for years. And it's just tremendous to see that loyalty, because these people are under incredible pressure with their businesses, and to get such a fantastic response from them speaks volumes just for just their commitment to supporting a local community club like Finn Harps. So that's been ongoing. Obviously, you've got the stuff like the jerseys. We launched the jersey there a couple of weeks back, and you had the online shop. We obviously couldn't sell the jerseys out of the normal club shop, so the online shop was launched, and it's going very well. So a lot of work been going on. Then you have the kind of the boring stuff that has to be done, like the club licensing, which is a very long-winded but very necessary process, and it's been done successfully as well. So again, as usual, very difficult times. It really needed people to step up to the plate during the current pandemic, but we're very happy with the support we've got from the local community, but especially our brilliant volunteers.
I suppose most questions go to Ollie about his preparations, but as you kind of alluded to, quite a lot goes on off the pitch as well that people don't really realise. That we have Lawrence and Desi and the team of ground staff working here probably for the last month solid. You have all the little bits of licensing that the likes of Shane and Lorna and that'll be out in the background. It's little things that aren't really appreciated, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. And look, we've known this for a long time that when you're on the outside, and me included, I thought, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? And you get on the inside, and obviously it's very difficult because you've got a team of volunteers running what is now a very big organisation, and you're starting from a very young age now with the academy, and then you've got your National League teams, and then you've got obviously the senior team. So everyone is becoming very specialised in their roles. We mentioned the shop, and you look at the work Anna and Kieran will be doing there, and now you've got the online shop, and you got Claire and James on that. You've got the license and all the stuff that you mentioned, and it's just a tremendous credit to people that are prepared to give up so much of their lives just to make this happen. So it's kind of like preparing for opening night at the theatre before you have your first match. You're preparing for it, and as soon as the players step out there, they go on to do their job. Then that's what it's all about. It's about us supporting the team. So we know that the work that Ollie and the backroom team have been putting in. People don't see a lot of that either. That starts as soon as the final whistle goes, literally, on the last match, and to try and put it together a squad that will represent the club now in what will be a really competitive league again. So it's all about us supporting that, and of course we're just that wee little bit sad that our supporters won't be able to come in and watch the team, but with the League of Ireland streaming service now, people at least will be able to watch the match and watch the football. So we're trying to use our online platforms just to create that sense of community, and that people can comment on the match afterwards and feel like there is that I suppose that sense that we're all in it together again. And but no, we're ready to go now, and we're looking forward to it. So we've made some interesting new signings. We've got some very good players back from last year. So but all the other teams will think the same now. But we're really looking forward to it.
There's lads working on the pitch, there's board members working, there's Dougie working in the kit room. The work is flat out as we're a couple of days away, so can you tell us a bit about kind of what's going on behind the scenes here with the pitch work?
Well, at the moment we've two groundsmen and a lot of the volunteers in, getting the pitch prep now for our kick-off on Saturday. We have our cut lined and so forth, and give another cut and line and then again on Saturday morning, just to get all the preparations done beforehand.
Yeah, and we're finally the end is in sight as we've a training ground going ahead over beside the new stadium. It's the first steps towards the move to Stranorlar. Can you tell us a bit about that?
We acquired this pitch off the council probably 6 weeks ago. We got to go ahead there last week, and I hope, we have people in cutting trees at the moment, and I hope to get the digger working started next week, and hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks we should be up and running.
So it's a big move for Harps, I suppose, to finally get our own solid training ground.
Yeah, it is, but it's financial save of it as well. Like we were just thinking about I think we'll save money for the club and hopefully get new players in.
Yeah, and a lot of this is down to the club's car draw and 500 club and lotto and everything. All goes into this.
All fundraisers, everyone's needed more so than ever with the times it's on it. When our car draw now on the 4th of April, need all the support we can get towards the facilities.
yeah, they're the two lads, the two directors.
Yeah, we didn't
Great
really
to
lead
kind
into
of
Ivan there, but
yeah.
it
Look,
just felt like the two of them kind of went hand in hand as well. So
yeah, well, that makes sense. So kind of they're both talking about kind of the interior workings and the behind the scenes. It's been great that Ivan, even from a couple of years ago with my cat, and he was a sponsor and doing the match night security, has really come in and looked to kind of push things on in terms of infrastructure and facilities. Like he was kind of banging the drum about the GoFundMe back during the summer for the new dressing room, and now obviously these new training facilities are going to be fantastic once they get up and running.
yeah, no, it's just huge for the club. Like even you look at the facilities that are in Finn Park now. Look at the new dressing room. Look at even down to the little kitchen there, the new kit room. These things, it's small things. Like, people think there's a new dressing room. It's not just a dressing room. There's a lot in there for for the money that was raised, and it's top class facilities as well. It's obvious the players appreciate it too. But then for the thing like that there, then to drive on for the new training facilities, the money we spend out on training facilities through the year is massive. Like, so to have our own is a big saving to the club, and for a fan-owned club that don't have big financial backers, that's massive. Like,
yeah, and even going back to Aidan Campbell as well, he kind of was very quick to pay tribute to the sponsors that have stuck by the club. This has been not to jump down the whole unprecedented times kind of carry on that you hear in every news bulletin, but it's been incredibly tough for everyone, and for the sponsors that have kind of stuck by the club when they could be struggling themselves, might not even be able to kind of open up, but they're coming back to support their community club. It means so much to the players, the staff, but also the volunteers and the fans. It's none of it works without the rest.
Yeah. Well, I think Aidan and Ivan both touched on it. The huge drive of volunteers in the club. The huge drive from especially someone like Trevor Gordon there with his 500 club. It's huge. These small things that people don't see as I talk about. Like, it's the one thing you keep hearing, and that shows the small things that people don't see, and people genuinely don't see these things. For Finn Harps, you think it's a football club. It's only Horgan. It's the players, but so much goes on behind the scenes. As I said, Trevor and his 500 club has been a huge backing for Ollie, especially, and the lads in the lotto that have kept going through everything. It's these things. It's all about the community of Finn Harps. It's not just Balbuffet. This is a Northwest club that is really behind the club. It is a big community feel. It's a family thing.
That's it. I mean, there's so much passion for the club around Donegal and around, the world even. You see your man from Mexico, even, just that kind of sheer passion. There's loads in America and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a proper community club, and it's proper, just Finn Harps. It's so community based, and everyone's so passionate about it. Volunteers especially to look at these boys who are just coming in to work on the pitch or do maintenance or whatever it is on their. I've got 2-3 hours. I'll go down Finn Park. It's massive.
But I'm sure it's something you see as well with the academy, Ben. And even obviously you were involved with the 15s last year, the 16s now as well, and your video role. It's the amount of people you be talking to, the amount of parents that you be talking to. I'm sure it all rubs off on them as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a big one for them as well, where we've kept on with them in Zoom calls, in core, and kind of interviews and little things we can throw to kind of mix it up and keep them entertained and interested in it, because it's so easy, yourself, both of you, for just sit there and week after week after week, it's so easy to just fall from it, just lose it completely. So again, not just myself, but all the coaches are with me in 16s, and all the other age groups are doing the same thing. I mean, we're putting in a big shift ourselves as coaches, but like the kids and the parents and all them, it's a big commitment, and fair play to everyone involved for doing it.
Right, we'll move on.
Yeah, give us Dougie.
Dougie.
The
legend. I caught him on the hop at Finn Park. There was a crowd of us in working on the pitch here for the last month or so. So
I don't think there's any time Dougie's not on the hop.
No, he's a busy man. He does a lot.
Yeah, he must have had him proper cornered, because if a camera comes out, that man, I've never seen him run as fast in my life.
You will see how cornered I had him. I stood the camera in the door and it says, right, you're talking now. I've been trying to get Dougie for a long time, so we finally got him, and this is what he had to say. Talk to me about what you're doing.
Getting ready now, preparing now for training for training session starts in about an hour. The boys like to be everything nice, fresh and clinical for every session.
What sort of hours we go into?
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. You'll be here tonight, you'll be here tonight, 9, 10 o'clock. Depends on if you have a match. Match day, you could have Friday, Monday, Friday.
There's no let up for pre-season or
no let up. Pre-season's the worst because when you have your squad, your 18 squad, on pre-season you have 30, so everything's doubled up for 8 weeks. Pre-season, you have double the work. So it comes on now to the league starting. Your work's sort of half, one way. Then you have to prepare for all your away games. So everything's packed up Thursday for Friday morning. So you could be here Thursday night at 10 or 11. Depends on where you're going.
So the next thing is with all the new jerseys are coming in. They have to be printed. They have to.
Everything's a way to get print. Last minute preparation today. Everything's in now getting the new logos on the back. So we'll have one in the change room for Friday evening. Probably the same next game. Things will be added on as the weeks go on at the start. So you're under a lot of pressure. Hoping no breakdowns.
Well, it's the simple things people don't see. Even down to just the number on the jumper.
The Airtricity, Airtricity badges on the sleeves. The people training find out they're large or they're an extra large, but then they want them large for match day. So after they've trained it or played it a while, they said, "What we doing a size?" So it's the whole process from warm-up gear right down to Under Armour, to your home jersey. They come to me blank. So I get the sleeves done. Number, name, number, sponsors.
So I suppose the saying is quite true. The pitman's job is never done.
Never done. No, it's never done, but it's enjoyable. Then you have your sports drinks. They all have to be measured out for each different player, different things, different players likes different. They've all be different.
I suppose especially with COVID as well. Now they all have their own special
all
bottles.
new. And the dishwasher, have to label them before every game. Label and number. And after, everything's sterilised back in the dishwasher. The most important thing on a match day going away game is your clock for half time. That is the most important thing. Because when they're in there, they want to hit 15 minutes and they have to use them well. And that's the first thing they look for. Get the clock. That clock is their special time. And saying that, then you have your flip charts to bring with you for the hotels, you have your pull-ups, it's just a load of work, a load of things that you have to tick off. People don't see that, like, but when you're going to a game, it's a full van load.
But you wouldn't change it?
No, I wouldn't change it. I love the job. You get to know all the volunteers around the ground. Some of them become your friends. You know, B-woman, Anne in the shop. No, they're all home, but they're all doing it as volunteers, and you're no different.
It's just what the club is all about.
That's what the club's about.
Geez, some effort. You know, just you kind of like you think God Kitman does a lot, but you know he's there all the time, and whether it's training or match nights and just kind of sorting out different sizes and what have you, it just never stops. And even things like if we sign a player and want to announce him, however, and say we want to get them in a jersey or the tracksuit or whatever, Harps thing, then Dougie gets called for that too. And he's like, Dougie, do you have a spare jumper? Do you have, the jersey for this fella so we can get a picture done? He's just always the kind of the port of call whenever you need something done.
It's
Nearly
the drop of a hat as well, though. Like he's always there. It's Dougie's special time, if you like.
I was gonna say it's not too far ever. He's always there. So I mean, he's always doing work. He's always doing something. He was at the academy beforehand, and again he did kind of the same thing. He did a bit of pitch work, did a bit of kit, did a bit of this. He was always around Kilgordon or always around the academy. So yeah,
I'd say he keeps a good eye on you. You Nigel working on the pitch.
Yeah.
No, it says the crowd of us has been out helping Desi, but then she's come on the ground staff, and Lawrence Merritt there. The two of them are flat out in the pitch at the minute, but like there's been 4 or 5 of us out helping for the last month or so, and every minute that you're there, Dougie or Ivan or Aidan Campbell or Lorna or Kathy or someone, there's always someone keeping an eye on you. But for all the time the rest of them are there, I would say Dougie is just an ever present, and 9 times out of 10 he's good enough to just shout out. You just want tea or something out of the kettle on,
I'm sure he'll throw you some suggestions on how to do the pitch well.
Well, if he doesn't, he always has biscuits at least.
Like that.
Yeah, but even with kind of COVID, his job's been made a lot tougher. There's no like sniff test and all that'll do, or even like he kind of went through the water bottles and the sports drinks and stuff. They all have to be, like you said, sterilized. They would have been obviously cleaned beforehand, but it's doubly important now that they are labeled and assigned to players. And there's no Asher, throw me that, sure, whenever you're done with that, none of that kind of carry on.
Yeah, there's no passing bottles around the pitch.
Exactly. Has to be your own bottle.
Yeah.
It's something we do as academy as well, but geez, it is hard work. Yeah.
Anyway,
some man.
So we alluded to it. Bartley, the club historian, has come on board as well with this little project, and he's recording some interviews with past players and fans of a certain vintage, we'll call it. We'll certainly appreciate this one. A man that was a very highly skillful player and very highly regarded at his time at Harps, Liam Harbison.
Do you remember watching him, do you?
Oh yeah, no. That's Aidan, before my time is on there.
Yeah, a young Nigel Harvey. Maybe a very young.
Yeah. Oh, let's catch this one anyway, see.
Okay, folks, I'm delighted to be joined with the man who I call my first ever hero at Finn Park, Liam Harbison, who is from Moneymore in County Derry. Liam is very, very fondly remembered at Finn Park for his talent and certainly his skill on the football. Liam, it's great to have you here this evening.
My pleasure, Bartley, my pleasure.
Tell us, Liam, how did you end up coming to Finn Harps? Because I know at around 19 years of age was the first time that you really played soccer, and you played Gaelic football up to that point.
I went to school at St. Patrick's Macara, which was a great and still is a great Gaelic school. Great tradition. They've won lots of McCrory's, Hogan Cups, and so I played minors for Derry. We had a pretty good team at that stage. We got to the All-Ireland semi-final. Were beaten by Kerry. Martin O'Neill missed a penalty in that match at Croke Park. I was invited to go to Glasgow Celtic with Kevin McCool.
Oh, right, yes.
And I should have gone, I should have gone to pre-season in August, but my mother was very keen on education and didn't see football as a source. And I had just finished A levels and was going to the Polytech or Jordanstown University of Ulster, as it is now, to do a 9-month crammer course in chartered accountancy. And even now, I the thought of it, it brings me out in a sweat, because I was not in the least bit academic, but I went there but the end result is I didn't go to in August to the pre-season, and we went over in January, which was the worst time to go to Celtic. We were to stay a month. I stayed for a week. I just was like a fish out of water. What happened? My wife and I, my wife was from Moneymore as well. We got married. We didn't. The troubles were at their height. We didn't want to stay around, and we went to London. And then I came back to London in 1980, and I played. Strangely, I played a friendly for Finn Harps against Coleraine in the showgrounds. And Ewan asked me to sign, and I made I had a cartilage problem, not serious, and I made my debut the 2 days after my first son was born, and that was against Home Farm, and we were getting beaten 2-0, and I came on in the second half and scored a goal, and I think we won 6-2.
That's so correct. You're actually correct.
It was a brilliant introduction and I felt so at home at at Finn Park, and with everyone that was involved there. It was it just felt like home. Look, we had a very good team. All the way through it. Like you had Charlie in goals, and Jim Sheridan was a fantastic centre back. And you had Joe running midfield, John Minnick. You could go through all the players. It was a very good time to be involved. I must say, I enjoyed every minute of it.
How did you find the travelling? I mean, you were coming from Coleraine all the way down to Ballbefay for home games alone. But Cork, Waterford.
Oh no, that was the biggest drawback, I have to say, because. With a young look, I was working in the tax department in Coleraine. Mm-hmm. So when you were going to Waterford or Limerick or Cork, and you were coming back, you'd be getting into Ballabofey at maybe 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and then driving to Coleraine, getting up the next day. That was the biggest drawback. Another game that I remember fondly was we beat Shamrock Rovers at Finn Park at that time, and we beat them 2-1, I think. And Johnny Giles and Eamon Dunphy were in the dugout at that time because they were ahead of their time. They were the only professional team, and they wanted to go full time. And I scored in that particular game, and and after the game, both of them came and had a word with me, just complimentary. So that was a high point as well. But no, it was. I must say, I've fond, and I still follow every result. In fact, I was watching the playoff game with Finbar. I was in Africa at the time it was played, and my friend, who's a big Finn Harps supporter, Finbar O'Rahilly, was in New York, and we were swapping scores and swapping tension at the same time. So no, there's still a great fondness for Finn Harps.
God, great! It was great. One thing kind of that's come out of this is Bartley can have these Zoom calls with these ex-players and stuff, and it's a great resource to have. That there's like you didn't get to see Liam Harbison, obviously. I'd be very worried if I did. And that we have that now for we have the full one, obviously, that we can kind of go watch later, forever. It's kind of great to have that, I suppose, artifact, because there's so many stories and little details and kind of bits and pieces about even other players he played with. That would just be lost otherwise,
Oh, absolutely. Well, as I said, there's the full interview coming up on the YouTube now, hopefully in the next few days. But there's some stuff, like as I said, I have to apologize to Bartley for cutting out some. There's some fantastic stories in it, but I tell you now, there's fantastic stories, and you're just going to have to watch it to see. Like there's the stories of how he wrote a letter to Busty Blake, to try and sign for Finn Harps, even though this was a guy that was already really highly regarded within Ireland and beyond. you know, it was a fantastic coup for the club, and
Yeah.
you know, even his
Oh,
stories about
people
going to Africa and stuff is just is crazy. Like,
I was gonna say people still, you know, write letters of sorts to the clubs looking to sign on the Instagram page and the DMs. I have boys all the time asking, you know, they'll score kind of a great wee goal on their friend in their garden with the jumpers for goalposts, and they'll say, you know, can I have a trial?
Yep.
So he might not. He's definitely not the last to do that anyway.
I suppose it's the sort of reference that Liam actually makes in his own thing is, you know, that when he was a kid, he had no football training. He was a Gaelic player growing up, and as he says, you know, he played for Derry Miners and stuff. You know, his football growing up was, you know, taken between two jumpers in his garden as well. Like, you know, that's
Everyone gets their start somewhere.
We've all come a long way, and as you say, you know, the players signing for Finn Harps now, you know, I'm sure Ollie Horgan doesn't get letters through his letterbox saying, "Can I sign for Finn Harps?" You know, this the trawling across Europe that Ollie has done to get players is huge, and obviously you can't do all this in COVID times now. Ollie's job is made a bit more difficult doing that, but you know, the difference is now with the likes of Y Scout and these sort of advances in technology that Ollie's able to look at videos of players, he's able to study players before he even speaks to them. It's massive.
I reckon the letter Liam wrote is vastly different to what the social media boys are getting in their inbox.
No, I can tell you now.
You'll give me a trial.
Yeah.
Ratio standard, you know, like all this kind of how many retweets for a signed jersey, just you name it, they'll try their hand at it. Yeah. Speaking of players, we've a game
We do
on Saturday.
Cheers, we're back, boys.
Yeah,
almost there.
The football's back. Yeah, we both probably, you know, there's the kind of, it is a bit of a cliche, but it's also true. There's no easy games in the League of Ireland, and definitely
not for us.
Division. No. There's no easy games for everyone.
No.
You've seen the kind of the way the league goes, and
that's it.
That being said, Bows were, you know, second last year and will probably fancy themselves thereabouts again. So it's obviously probably a tough one to have coming up to us, kind of opening doors.
Yeah.
Especially with, you know, Georgie Kelly, who's guaranteed to score against us. That's, you know, death taxes and a Georgie Kelly goal against Finn Harps.
Yeah, we did beat them last time, so maybe.
Yeah.
Looks there's that.
You know, there's that, and we
both have definitely strengthened as well, though.
Definitely.
So have we to an extent. But, you know, both have added some very good players to their squad. You know, they've obviously lost some good players, so they'll I would say they'll come up, you know, fairly confident. But it's how we go into the game. We don't really care how Bows act.
Yeah, no, you're right, and maybe one of the things we haven't had is that continuity of squad that will go in. Maybe knowing how we want to play, maybe we won't. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but we might know how. At least the players will know each other at the start. But you know, they'll go in kind of knowing how they want to play, or people be set up a certain way, and that'll kind of, you know, stand to their stead. Especially the run at the end of last season. You know, they can kind of recapture that confidence and that belief and the kind of togetherness.
Yeah.
Then, you know, there's no reason they can't kind of spring an upset come Saturday night.
Well, I think it's one thing that you say is very important there, that our players know each other. You know, it's sort of in jest, but it's serious as well. Like, we've retained the bulk of last season's squad. You know, unfortunately lost a couple of players, but that's football. Like, but even the players that we brought in, the likes of Ethan Boyle has been there, knows some of the squad, knows Ollie, knows what to expect from Finn Harps. You know, Conor Barry, Ollie knows him well from even his youth, I believe. You know, the likes of Ryan Reedy will know a lot of the local players as well. He'll know Ollie well.
Sean Boyd's back again as well.
Sean Boyd, he knows the player as well. You have, who else is back there? Tunde. No, he's a bit of an unknown quantity to us and to the club. We kind
of into the league,
into the league. But you know, his goal scoring record speaks for itself. You know,
and that's a blessing and a curse as well, because, you know, exactly, like, he might not really know what to expect himself, but also, you know, defenders might not know what he's going to pull on them. So it kind of works both ways.
But even the rest of the signings, like, they all know Ollie, or they know someone in the squad. Ryan Shanley there will know Cost from his time at Hibs. There's continuity with the squad, as you say. That I think that's hugely important to us, because we haven't had that in past seasons. you know, even especially last year where most of the squad didn't know each other going into the start.
Even talking to Koss, he was saying that was kind of one of the things he said was the big driving force for the run towards the end of the year. He was like, you know, when we started, even the players that had been there a few years, they didn't know the person to the left of them or in front of them. That was still a new player. So
That's it,
to not have that this year is massive, and it's something other clubs might not have the benefit of.
Yeah.
Definitely. It will, you know, hit the ground running, as you said, from last year. Because it's the vast majority of them are there, don't know to, you know, there's no need for introduction, and there's no need for how does he play and what do I, you know, how does he affect me, and so on and so forth. It's just carry on from last year. It's a big one, as well as the 19s coming in, you know, the big emphasis on youth players and the promotion, if you will, of the 19s in the first team.
I'm delighted for the lads as well. Like, you know, it's good
Definitely,
for them. It's good for them. You know, they'll get in there along with highly experienced players, league winners, cup winners. It's you know, it'll help drive them on. You know, it'll help improve them. You know, being on the training pitch every day with these guys is, you know, it's massive for these guys at their age and at their stage of development.
That's it. The experience they can get from, again, you know, two of the 3 or 4, if you want to pick Paddy McGarvey in there as well. Out of the 4, 2 defenders. To be, you know, a young fella learning from Shane McElhaney and David Webster. I mean, you know, it's a big one.
It says Shane McElhaney, Dave Webster, Stephen Folin.
Yeah.
You know, they have all won either the league or the cup or league cup or something within the league. You know, you don't get more experience than that.
That's it.
Yeah, and as well as that, I guess you've kind of got. I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind.
I'll pick up there. The big one as well is the under 21s instead of the reserves. I mean, that's again another emphasis of the club going into a development kind of way, and, you know, improvement of players and promotion of players from the 19s into 21s into seniors and all that kind of thing. It's a big one, you know.
Yeah, and even other kind of maybe academy graduates like Jimmy Brown's back again. Niall McGinley, you know, he's back. He's someone we didn't mention before, and he's been around the group. He knows Ollie, he knows the club. You know, Mark Coyle's back again. He's, you know, technically an academy graduate from back in, you know, 2014. He's probably overlooked as one when people are kind of counting up, you know, are there any academy players in the team? But he's definitely one. So there's a kind of group there that, you know, shows that there is that pathway for players. Of course, yes, Stephen.
Yeah, no,
so you know,
it's good for these lads, you know, to get that, you know, as we said before, the reserve side, you know, and no disrespect to anyone that has been involved in it, but it's kind of been, you know, somewhat of a throwaway in the past. Whereas now, you know, it is an emphasis on development, and it's very important for these lads to have somewhere to come out of the 19s and not just be discarded or get no football. To have an under 21s team there, you know, ideally, in an ideal world, we'd have, you know, an under 23 league or an under 21 league or something. The Ulster Senior League has been a vital resource to us, you know, and it will continue to be a vital resource to us. And getting these lads senior minutes under their belts, like, you know,
playing against seniors, I mean, that's a big thing, you know. That's a really, really big thing, to play against men instead of just under 19s and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, because a lot of the lads in the Ulster Senior League are ex-League of Ireland players anyway. So
exactly. So it's a good level to begin with, and again, it's seniors. It's completely different football than it is 19s, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a massive one for them.
Yeah, but anyway, Bose, I'm excited for it.
I think we're all excited. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a bit of dread on Saturday now, waiting for the game. Like, there's that excitement. There's also like the, oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's dread you were missing, though. You know, I miss dreading football. You know, that kind of thing.
I know, well, maybe not the first game, but the big games. I remember even the kind of the Cork home game last year, and you know, that was a Sunday evening, and that ruined the weekend. I was there like, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
And we were there, me and Nigel. So
and it's great to have it back.
Yeah.
No, I'm delighted. I'm delighted to watch all the way back as well. Like, it's just, it's class.
Yeah.
Class indeed.
And you'll have you lads FHTV behind the scenes with your GoPros behind the goal and all sorts.
Yeah. we've we've really improved the FHTV this year. I mean, we're even with doing this. I mean,
Well,
that's a
remains
big
to
one.
be seen. This might be crap. Maybe
Might be.
no one will like it.
Nobody likes
Yeah.
the three of us chatting nonsense for an hour.
Yeah, my God, who are these three?
For us, it's an improvement. I mean, we're enjoying it anyway, so there's that.
Yeah,
But as you said, the little it's little bits and pieces. But I mean, when you look at it, when you look at the goals we've already recorded there, that looks brilliant. It looks really good. So always
That's
enjoying
right.
it, and always
Any
doing
small
new
improvement we can
things.
make,
Exactly.
you
That's
kind of
it.
have to take that step forward at some stage.
especially just because fans can't be there, and that's the
Exactly.
whole point of this. It's the whole point of the kind of extra FHTV stuff. It's because the fans can't be there on the ground. We want to do the maximum we can to make them feel part of match night, part of the club. Still, they still have that togetherness, that link.
Yeah, definitely.
And so kind of anyone that has any maybe suggestions further to that, kind of lay them on me. Anything, whether it's on Twitter, on the email, we can leave links below, or even comment below on the YouTube video.
Definitely,
Anything you can
anything
think
you
of,
think, yeah.
If it can't be done, it can't be done. But lay it on me. I'm hell here.
It's worth a shout. I mean, the worst thing can happen, but I mean, it's worth a shout. Anything. But as you said, with all the passion that the fans and everyone around the club has for it, we're trying to bring them as close as we can.
Yeah, and hopefully now in weeks to come we can add highlights and stuff into this thing as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Fingers crossed. Right. Well, we'll leave it there. So.
Yeah, we'll just shut up for now.
Just for now. We'll be back at some point.
Yeah,
occasionally,
that's the one. Yeah. So if you like this, let us know. If you didn't,
let us know.
Fair enough.
I guess. Yeah.
Look, I'll not blame you. Look, call a spade a spade.
Yeah.